going to look a little bit more closely at the thesis statement of the persuasive essay, and we're going to practice making our own thesis statements as well. Before we do that, let's look back at our example essay, A Nation of Immigrants. So we read this for homework last week and we analyzed it, but I want to go back a little bit to the introduction paragraph. The introduction is the first paragraph, and it has kind of an interesting organization that might be slightly different from other introductions that you've written thus far. So to start off in black, this is sort of the hook. And also at the end of the hook, it introduces that there is a growing debate in the US over the issue of immigration. So by introducing that at the end of the hook, we're getting ready to tell the reader, because this is a debate, there are actually two sides to every debate, right? Then we move on to the blue part. The part in blue here is one side of the debate. Actually, it's the opposing side. Remember that this essay is pro-immigration, meaning that it supports immigrants. Everything in blue is the arguments against immigration, like many opponents fear, right? Different things. So by talking about the other side or the opposing side a little bit, we're showing that this is one of the sides. And then finally in yellow, we transition into our side or our belief. Notice that this first part in bold is the transition that connects the blue, which is the opposing side, to the yellow, which is my belief as a writer, okay? So it says, while these arguments may seem valid to many, when the writer says these arguments, it's referring to the opposing side's arguments that they just talked about. The use of while tells the reader that this is a contrast, right? So this is going to be the opposite of what I truly believe. While these arguments may seem valid to many, migrants enhance American life. Okay, so that's my opinion. That's my main point throughout this whole essay, is that migrants enhance American life. And then I bring the three ways that I believe they enhance American life: by bringing valuable technical knowledge and skills to our country, boosting social service funds, and creating jobs. So these three ideas will become the three body paragraph ideas as well, okay? So that's a little bit about the organization of the introduction. And notice that we transition from the other side into our side or our belief. And we're going to do the same thing in this worksheet. So for this assignment, we're going to look a little bit more closely at thesis statements, and we're going to use some ideas that are already planned for us to write our own. So the directions say, look at the topic, the opinion, and the supporting details for each argument and write a cohesive thesis statement. Cohesive means that it fits together, it's smooth, and it makes sense. So here, for example, the topic is censorship, right? When you censor what people can say or not say, do or not do. So this says censorship is wrong. That's my opinion about it, right? So that's ultimately what I want to say in the second half of the thesis statement. And then these are the details. These are the three reasons why I believe censorship is wrong. Number one, it goes against freedom of speech. Number two, what is right or wrong is different from country to country. And number three, many great works would be banned, right? So that a lot of times censorship is about like banning books and banning written things. So my thesis statement here begins with a word of contrast, although. Although many governments censor various things, right? So this is sort of the opposing side, right? Many governments censor. But remember that I believe that censorship is wrong, so now I need to transition into my opinion. Although many governments censor various things, censorship is wrong because now we get into the three ideas. It goes against freedom of speech. What is right or wrong is different from country to country, and many great works would be banned. Notice the addition of and, because this is a list of 3 things. So I'm going to put and before the last thing. Also notice the use of the transition word because it sets up these are 3 reasons why, right? Although is a great word of contrast to introduce your thesis. While is another great word that we saw in the example in the essay. And you can set yours up in different ways too. I just want to give you a couple of words to start talking about that opposing opinion and then getting into your own opinion too in your thesis statement, okay? So again, this is just an example of a thesis statement that would really clearly tell the reader what your essay is about, what the other side thinks, what your opinion truly is, and then the reasons that you believe that, okay? So for homework, I'm going to ask you to complete the worksheet on your own for the other topics. Some will have 2 supporting details, others will have 3. But again, your goal is just to make one thesis statement that is one sentence and that incorporates all of these details, okay? So that's it. You guys can submit the assignment when you're finished. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me via email or come to my office hours.